Hello, and thank you for tuning into this week's Mayor's Update. As always, we have a lot of information to share with you today, and please feel free to share this video with any of your friends, family, relatives, and anyone else who you may think may find the information helpful or interesting. The first thing I'd like to talk about in this week's video is the city's annual operating budget. As I mentioned in a couple of my first videos, the usual fiscal year for the city runs from July 1st to June 30th, and the budget normally happens sometime in the beginning of June, so that by the time June 30th comes around, we have a full operating budget ready to go for the new fiscal year. However, because of the current pandemic situation, the state has allowed cities and towns to do what's called a 1/12 continuing operation budget. This means we take last fiscal year's budget, divide that up by 12, and that's our monthly spending cap. This is what we did for the months of July and August. I'm happy to say that I will be releasing my budget for the upcoming fiscal year to the City Council on Monday so that they can start to hold special meetings to approve this before September so we can avoid having another 1/12 appropriation. I spoke to Council President Elizabeth Kaczynskis for quite some time about this, and we think we have the plan all worked out. But please keep an eye on the city's website for all of the public meeting postings and on our budget page on our website if you have any questions. We'll also be doing a special presentation like these just on the budget itself to try to explain any changes, what the normal budget process is like, what differs here, and what we plan to expect for the coming fiscal year. Keep an eye out for that, as that'll be posted in the usual spots where these videos are posted on the city's website, YouTube, social media, and so on. The next thing that we have to talk about today is the upcoming state primary election. Now, I mentioned last week that early voting in this primary starts soon, and as a matter of fact, you can actually vote by mail in this primary now. You may have received a postcard from the Secretary of State's office in your mailbox. Fill that out, return it to City Hall if you would like to vote by mail this round, and a ballot will be mailed to your home. This is exactly what we do with absentee voting for every other election that we've had in the past 10 years. However, given the current pandemic situation, you no longer need a reason to vote by mail as you did when you were absentee voting, and that's an option for anyone who'd like to. We already have just over 2,000 people who have elected to do this type of voting, but we'll have in-person early voting as well, and then voting on actual election day as always. If you're interested in any of the information on early voting, voting by mail, this upcoming primary, or any of those natures, please feel free to go to the City Clerk's page on the city's website, which again is www.gardner-ma.gov. And there is information as well as a brand new instructional video that's posted up there for your viewing. As I said in the last video, it feels like we've been in an election cycle for most of this year. We had a presidential primary in March, then the city special elections. This election is for state offices. It has the primaries for United States senators, representatives to Congress, district attorney, state representative, state senator, offices that are either from the state to the national level or that go and represent us at the state and county levels. Again, sample ballots and what's called specimen ballots can be found on the city clerk's website if you have any questions on who's running from your party, where do I vote, and so on from there. Our senior center has begun the process of reopening. In fact, on August 31st, we will be going live again with our exercise classes that we offer at the senior center. This will be set up all according to the regulations that have been put in place as a result of the current COVID-19 pandemic. And we understand that many people who use the senior center are at that high-risk category. So we've taken extra precautions to make sure that we can get our seniors together to allow them to socialize while still maintaining and protecting their safety. What we'll be doing is we'll be starting with exercise classes of yoga, line dancing, and Zumba. What our staff at the Council on Aging have done have taped out 12-foot by 12-foot squares in our exercise area, and it'll be one person per 12-foot square. This is double the 6 feet of distancing, so we maintain that extra space there to assure that everyone is at a safe distance from each other, and it'll be by sign-up only. So you'll have a sign-up sheet at the Council on Aging. You can sign up for, I want to take yoga class at 2 o'clock on Thursday. And so long as that hasn't filled up at that time, you'll be able to go in and participate that. You'll have to wear your mask up until the point where you're in your assigned square. And once you're in there, you can take your mask off for your exercise class. At the end of that, you'll be directed to the exit door of the Council on Aging. And we'll hope to be able to grow this program as we see how it progresses during its first couple of weeks. Any feedback that we get from those that attend these classes, and the regulations as they continue to grow and evolve as we face the current pandemic. If you have any questions on that, please contact the Council on Aging via phone or check out the city's website for any other offerings that they have. Earlier this week, Council President Kaczynskis, Chief Brax from the Gardner Police Department, and myself had the privilege of serving food at the Council on Aging's first hot meal drive-through service. Since we can't have our residents in the building for our usual meal programs, what we have decided to do is every now and then offer these hot meal programs where residents can drive up to a tent under which the food is already prepared in little to-go bags, and you'll be handed your food and how many people that you need. For this service, we're asking that you please call ahead to the Council on Aging to let us know how many meals we need to prepare, and then stop by. This was the first one that we had, and what's hopefully going to be a series of these events. But if you're looking for more information on that and the other programs that the Senior Centers offers, again, you can find it on the city's website. The staff at the Senior Center will always be there to answer the phone, to answer your questions. Or our flyers that we would normally have in the Senior Center themselves are also located in all of our grocery stores and other places around the city. Please feel free to pick up one of those, and it has all that information listed in there as well. We had some very exciting news this past week where Senator Tran and Representative Zlotnick came and presented the city with a $40,000 grant from the state government for us to be able to refurbish and repair the structures at Ovala Case Playground. This playground seems to have multiple different names to it depending on where you grew up in the city. It's either the Fantasy Playground, Up, Down, All Around, Ovala Case, but either way, it's great to see this money come in to help us spruce up the equipment there. That's special. You don't see wooden structures like that most places that you go visit. And over the past couple months, the Solid as a Rock Foundation that was made in memory of former Deputy Chief Rock Barrio provided the DPW with a sizable donation as well, and that's where you see all that new equipment that's there with the wooden structures as well. When we took the picture, it was neat. It was the old and the new there together, and we look forward to seeing that work being done soon. Hopefully by next summer, we'll have all the repairs made and some painting of the structure done as well to get that back up to where it should be. We have completed Stage 1 of our downtown revitalization project through our Department of Community Development and Planning. What this project entailed was installing new sidewalks through areas of the downtown. This is something that we should be looking at doing every so often to make sure that our sidewalks meet full ADA requirements, that they are handicap accessible, and just are not in disrepair. So this project, again, phase 1 was putting in the new sidewalks. Phase 2 will begin sometime late fall, probably next year. That'll take care of the crosswalks in the area as well as other different projects. If you're looking for the plan for this, you can find that through the Community Development and Planning page on the city's website or by calling them at any time. And speaking of work downtown, the connection work that's being done for all of the utilities that we've been seeing work done over the past year has completed as of today, which is Thursday, August 13th. So what that means is over the course of the next week, we'll be putting permanent patches on the trenches. And again, if you remember last week when we talked about what that exactly means, it means that we, at any given spot where there's pavement on the streets, there's about 5 inches of pavement that's there. And when we go through and repave and mill the streets, we need at least 2 inches to stay there as a foundation for the new pavement that we put on. So the permanent trenches that we put on allow us to have that extra buffer for a foundation that's there in the areas where we've recently dug up, so that by mid to late September, when we go in and we grind down the streets, what we're doing is we're taking the top 3 inches of pavement off and leaving 2 inches down there to put a new base coat on mid-September, early October, at the absolute latest, for the base coat of new pavement to be done in that area. This has taken a long time coming, and I understand it's been a long inconvenience for those of you who travel through our downtown area, but this is the first time in several years that we've seen new sidewalks and new streets being done in our downtown area, and it's very exciting to see what potential that could lead to. Which brings me to the fun announcement that we have in this video, and that is the release of the 2020 paving list for the city of Gardner, and I know many of you have been waiting for this. So if you'll bear with me, I'd like to read that to you so you understand what work will be done. There's some of this will probably start in mid-September. Most of it will be done in October up until mid to late November, but all of this work will be done this year. So for the areas that are being paid for out of the water project that has been being done in the downtown area, we'll be looking at Clark Street from Ryan Street to Brookside Drive, Vernon Street from Central Street to Park Street, Central Street from Maple Street to Parker Street, City Hall Avenue from Connor Street to Nicholson Street, Acadia Road from West Street to Ryan Street, Nichols Street from Parker Street to City Hall Avenue, Main Street from Parker Street to Willow Street, and Connor Street from Parker Street to City Hall Avenue. Then on top of that, we have what's called Chapter 90 funding. This is the assistance that the state provides us for infrastructure repairs and paving that we get annually every year. The city got about $600,000 from that program this year, and we're spending just about all of that on paving this year. And that money will be going to paving Whitney Street from Timpani Boulevard to Main Street and from Timpani Boulevard to Adams Street, Lovewell Street from High Street to Ken Drive, High Street from East Broadway to Minot Street, and Sawyer Street from Dyer Street to Mill Street. And then the last area of paving that we're doing in the city this year is Eaton Street from Green Street to Kelton Street. The work that is being done in the Eaton, Kelton, Wheeler, and Stone area is underway. The pulverization of Stone, Wheeler, and Kelton is already ongoing for those of you who live in that area. Again, if you notice the road seems to be unlevel at some places, it probably just means the pulverizer has gone by, but the grader and the roller haven't gone over the area yet. If you have any questions on paving this year or the work being done in that area where we're pulverizing the roads to convert them into gravel roads, feel free to call our DPW at any time with questions on those matters. The Micro Enterprise Assistant Grants that we announced a couple of weeks ago as part of our pandemic response program, the application for those will be released sometime next week. If you have any questions on how to access the application, what the money can go towards, and who is eligible, please feel free to contact Maribel Cruz, who is our City Economic Development Coordinator, or Jeff LeGros, who is the Assistant Director of Community Development and Planning. They are the two that are overseeing this program and can help walk you through this program step by step. We continue to research and discover new ways that we may be able to help our local businesses during these trying times. And as we implement these new actions that we are currently researching, we will update you on those at that time. However, we're always here to answer any questions that you have as usual. I understand there was an unfortunate circumstance that occurred last weekend over at the Haywood Wakefield apartment buildings. On behalf of all of us here at Gardner City Hall and all of us in the city of Gardner, I want to extend my deepest condolences to the family of those involved. Know that you are in mine and all of our prayers, and if you need any assistance, please feel free to contact my office at any time. Thank you to our first responders who went to that location while the situation was still ongoing, and know that all of us in the city are behind the family 100%. But That is it for our weekly update this week. Until we see each other again, please continue to look out for yourself, your friends, your family, and everyone else here. Please continue to look after your own physical and mental health during these trying times. Keep an eye out next week for both next week's update and the budget update that will be coming out sometime in the middle of the week as well. And until we speak again, have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.